why bother making this video? Why should Simcha, which in all her videos claims she is self-realized, enlightened, call it whatever you want. Why should she do that? You do not exist, he does not exist, this video is not happening, not a single word is being uttered. So why did she take the camera and placed it in front of her, and why is she sitting here, and why is she trying to explain? The first thing that we must lay as our ground, trying to understand Simcha, is the basic rule, is the ground, is the thing itself, which is that nothing ever happens because there is nothing. So, if you take this simple sentence, just as it is being said to you, that in reality nothing ever happens. So, the obvious answer is, she doesn't bother. If you ask why bother, she will answer, she doesn't. She is not bothering. She's not doing it. This is an effortless state. Why is it effortless? Because you are not doing anything. Why aren't you doing anything? Because there is no you to do and there's nothing to be done. And this is it. So simple, empty. The appearance in the illusion seems to be of a person that is making an effort, and sometimes a very big effort, an enormous effort. And Simcha is, in her humble way, with her family and with her community, is making enormous efforts just to act and to help and to do whatever she can. And she's busy constantly. And it looks like she's making an effort. She can sleep less just to get things done. She can not have time to eat properly and then run physically, or physically lift things, or do psychologically speak to people. And she's doing all this, and it looks like so much effort. But if it was an effort, Simcha would be tired and despaired, because trying to convey this message to deaf ears, to blind world, to non-understanding, to a blank wall, can be quite frustrating if you are a person that is trying to convey a message and has a purpose by doing it. Like if Simcha had an agenda or a will for someone to change, then she would be very, very frustrated that she cannot convey the message, that she's making such an effort and trying so hard, and all her talents and all her abilities, and breaking her teeth with this English, and nothing happens, and she doesn't succeed, and oh, it's so much effort. But because she's not a person, she's not Simcha, she's not making an effort, and all this is the illusion. And what is this quietness, blissful, ecstatic moment, or non-moment, or nothingness, all nothingness. This is what is. It never changes. It doesn't matter to itself, to what we are, what the appearance of the illusion is. So it doesn't matter. So there is no one to be frustrated, and there is no one to bother. So basically, the first thing we should know is, in an enlightened state, when you know what you are, you never bother. You never. It may look like it. It may look like an effort that I'm making now. I'm making an effort. It's not so. So after we establish this simple fact, which is very hard to grasp because it defies everything you think about reality. But if you walk with me, let's look at the illusion. Why should she bother in the illusion of nothingness? Simcha sees nothing. She doesn't see her children or her country or anything. There is nothing. She is nothingness. And she knows that. So it doesn't matter in the illusion yet. When she got out of the game, she finished the game, continue playing this crazy, no-purpose game, just doing it, just going through the motions of the game. And because she knows, and when she says she doesn't mean Simcha, okay? Because it knows, the thing itself, that knows that it is a story in the illusion that was written by itself, and you cannot change it. You cannot change the story. You already decided for yourself a specific line that you are witnessing. And the word is witnessing and not creating or making, or, you know, you are not the author of the story, because you already wrote it, sealed it, and published it. The story is in the stores. You can buy it. You are not writing it as you go along, and your decisions are writing the next line. No, it was pre-decided. So when you are enlightened or self-realized, you know that. You know that the line that you see was predetermined by you, and it is just following through the sentences. You read the next sentences, it is written. And in Simcha's story, amazingly enough, in the line of the story, in the illusion, wow, there was a beautiful chapter after, like in the middle of the book, when she was 45, there was a beautiful chapter that ended the story, that ended the identification of the character with itself and began something new. It's like the story of the character was written, and this awakening was written also. And after this chapter, in this chapter, there was the decision. There is no decision, because this also was pre-decided by her. It matches beautifully her character to continue the false game and try to help others, because she now has the ability to help them in a more effective and more powerful way than she did before. Now, in this imagined story, there is a character in everyone that knows her in her life. She became something else in their story. She became someone that is always the same, that has always the same expression, and sometimes when people who are close to me are having difficulties and I try to explain to them and I smile, they don't understand why I'm smiling, because this is the natural state. This is a great smile. This is the knowing that everything is all right. It's like a game. You're seeing a little child that is worried about the monster under the bed and there is nothing. So I smile, and sometimes you can interpret it like detachment, but it is not, because in reality, she is making a great effort to do something for the person who is suffering. And he knows that, and she helps him. And so there is like a contrast between the way she helps. It's like a detached form of helping, because she's never involved emotionally. Simcha never feels sorry for someone or pities him. She always stays very relaxed and calm, and she's doing everything she has to do with the person. The ability to help is just in the daily life, in the daily struggles of people, for an enlightened being is effortless, natural. And the thing that was pre-written in the story, because the character has many side characters, I don't know how you call them, and they also need their stories to progress and to evolve. And if they have a character in their lives that is more evolved or outside the story, it's like the author itself is telling them. And it is also part of what was pre-written for them to meet and to know and to be able to ask for help from someone like that. And so she can do that without bothering, and eventually to make videos like these that speak about the truth is like the first thing you need to do. It's like in the doctor's oath. Don't harm, don't do any damage to the person. First, don't harm them. Making videos cannot, like these, cannot harm anyone, because the information in the videos is like a description of the state, and this state, you cannot grasp it with normal thinking, but it's nice to play with the thought, and this information clear should be like available to everyone, because the internet is open and everyone should have access to this information portrayed by Simcha, because there are many people who claim to say the same and exact thing, and unfortunately most of them are not and cannot understand what they say. And so they misguide people, and people can reach the wrong conclusions. There are people who use others for money. And when this thing, this information, like Simcha is trying to do in the last 3 years, just it's a present that she lovingly give anyone who would listen, it cannot harm him in any way. So she doesn't harm. It can be useful sometimes for someone, I don't know in what way he can use this thing. It will click in his psychological structure, in his life, he will find the solution, he will think something can grow from this information, spiritually or philosophically, I don't know, something can happen by being exposed. The only thing she wants or not wants, the only thing she's doing by making these videos is making this truth available for anyone. Just take it. No conditions, want nothing. You don't have to do anything with this information. You don't have to have a better life or a worse life or commit to it or anything. It's just there because she can. Because she can, and because it's natural for her, because she already had a camera, because she knows how to take this thing, because Simcha has been doing video for the last 25 years, so she knows how to film, how to edit, and it's natural for her. She did it very naturally. The last thing, why bother making these videos or helping others when you're this thing, this vacant nothingness, is the great compassion of the thing to itself. Knowing, it's like you have an imaginary friend, Maurice, Joey's friend, the space cowboy from France. It's like you have an... sorry, אבל לא יכלתי. It's like having an imaginary friend that you like and you love. You know he's imaginary. You know he's nothing. He's in your imagination. And yet, in this story, you will bother, you will see or imagine that he's sick, and you will make some hot tea in your imagination and give him the tea. And you will take a blanket and you will ask, what do you need to feel better? You will ask your imaginary friend, and you will bring him imaginary things, and you will, make the imaginary tea and stir it. And this is what Simcha is doing. She's taking care of her imaginary friends. And because she loves them so much, she loves herself so much. This thing is full of love and compassion. And the fact that you are figments of imagination, you are not real, I'm not real, all this thing is imagined, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So great is the compassion for itself, to take care of the imaginary friend. How are you? You are not there, and yet I will ask, how are you? So basically, this is the way this thing is. It already knows what we pre-decided for ourselves. If there is a point of shift, like in the story of Simcha, it has more power to help itself, and this is what he is doing. In reality, he's not doing it because nothing ever happens, but basically it stays in the story just to try to change and help the others progress in their stories. It knows that the others have a predetermined story, and it knows that in their predetermined stories they will meet a character that, like in my story, my children will meet a mother that was, she's speaking like she does, and they will have to face with this fact and learn or not learn, or just witness the peace in her manner. And this was what was pre-written for them. So you all you, my imaginary friends, have a pre-decided story, a pre-arranged story. The book was written and published. It's okay. What inside the story is the next line? You are reading it now, right now. You're just reading it. You are not writing it. Just read the line. When you read the line, you are like acting the line. She is walking in the street. It's reading and walking in the street. This is the way you read the lines. And it's so beautiful. It's just a beautiful process that is not happening. So why bother? We do not bother. We do not do that. And if you insist on an answer, the only one will be, and always is, compassion, even to the imaginary friends.